A few things you need to do in order to stop rebounding when you break up with someone, to keep yourself from going back to that person. Breaking up with someone is a horrible thing. There's no such thing as a good breakup. You're always going to feel one way or another about the breakup. But I want to give you a couple of things that will help you to be able to get past your ex. The first thing you need to realize is that the reason many people go back to their ex, the reason that many people rebound that way and also carry baggage into the next relationship and wind up going back to their ex because every other relationship seems to be worse than your ex, is because you haven't made the mind shift that you need to make in order to facilitate a breakup and a good, healthy healing from what occurred with you and your ex. So what is the first thing? Because you're dealing with anxieties, you're dealing with depressions, and those things are keeping you stuck in that rebounding stage and in that anxiety situation and in that depression. So the first thing that you need to understand is that all things in the universe are neutral and all things change. You see, the neutrality within the universe is that you have actually little control over everything that happens. If your bowels say that you're going to go to the bathroom, guess what you're going to do? You're going to the bathroom. You can't stop it. You might be able to hold it for a while, but eventually it's going to be strong enough that your body's going to do what it's going to do. You can't stop it. Aging. You can't stop aging. You put all the creams on that you want. You can work out. You can do everything you possibly can do. But at the end of the day, the telomeres in your cells are getting smaller and you're going to age. So you can't, and in the same way, you cannot control people. I can't control how any of my exes acted. I can't control how they disappointed me. I can't control any of those aspects of who they are. The only thing I can control is my own mindset. And that is how you get over your ex, is to do practical things and have an understanding that helps you with your mindset. So number one, the first thing that you need to stop doing is stop following them, looking them up on social media. You know, before social media, it was you knew the places that they went to, you knew the places that they hung out, so you might show up there and you run into them all the time and you see them all the time. And, you know, when you was in school, you couldn't help it to a certain degree, but go to class a different way. Stop being where that person is. And in today's world, stop following them on social media. Don't go in and look at and see what they're doing, who they're with. Stop. Stay away from their social media. And in your own social media, like on Facebook, the memories pop up. Last year memories, 5 years ago memories. Turn the memories off, or go through the process of going through all your photos, all your videos, and delete them. I know it's tedious, it's painstaking, and I used to be a person who used to say, I'm not deleting all that stuff because shit, life happens. The person needs to understand I had a history and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But if I'm suffering through a breakup, and all that is fine if you're not suffering through a breakup, but if you're suffering through a breakup, if you're a year later, 2 years later, and you're still, you know, having emotions about that person and considering that person and thinking about that person, you might need to take the time to go through your social media and delete all those. Most of the time, I simply just turned off the memories. Other times, I did go ahead and delete them because there was no purpose for them to be there. If there is a purpose for them to be there, then you are still holding on to something. You still caught up. You still emotionally tied to them. So stop tracking them on social media and clean up your social media so that you're not always constantly reminded of the good times, because you know what you posted was always the good times. Now, speaking of the good times, number two, stop focusing on the good times. But instead, what I would like to see you do is learn how to meditate. Or even if you're not meditating, learn how to just sit still or to take time to think. Some people even need to go as far as having burning rituals, trash rituals, where you take the pictures, you take the items and things of that nature that they've purchased for you that holds memories. And that's the thing, these things are holding memories. And if it's holding a memory that's causing you to think that you want to be with that person, then stop, burn it, throw it away, give it away, do whatever you need to do to get rid of it. Now, I know some of the situations are a little bit different. Some of those situations, those pictures have you and your kids also involved in them, and you don't want to get rid of those pictures. Or some of those items have value, and you don't want to just throw that value away. Sometimes I get it. But if it's holding a memory, then you need to start focusing on not the good times that you experienced with that person, but you need to start focusing on all the negative times you had with that person. And that's what your meditation is about. If you take the time, 30 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, sit down and meditate on at least one of the bad traits of that person, it will reinforce your reason for either breaking up with them, or it'll reinforce the fact that you're glad they broke up with you. By doing this, you are creating a mental state where your reality becomes that you are glad that the breakup happened. Instead of you being sad about the breakup, you're now glad about the breakup. You're thinking about the fact that they cheated on you. You're thinking about the fact that they stole from you. You're thinking about the fact that they didn't respect the trust that you had between each other. You're thinking about their abuse, whether physical or mental. You are constantly thinking about those negative things about that individual person. And remember, you're thinking about it in the framework of they disappointed your standard. And that's number 3, is realizing that it is not a broken heart that you have. It is a break in your expectations that you had for that person. You expected that person to love you a certain way, to respect you a certain way, to trust you a certain way. And they broke that standard. They broke that trust. They broke the reality that you had set up for them. And because they did, your heart is not broken. Your standards are broken. Your heart is just fine. You see, wherever the mind goes, the heart will follow. So if you set up your mind to be able to acknowledge that that person wasn't the person for you, or a good person for you, that you are happy with the breakup, you're good to go. And the last thing, although there are many other things I could talk about, but the last one for this video, I should say, start to develop new habits, start to develop new places that you go, start to develop new things that you do. Because if you was always going to Cheesecake Factory with that person, every time you go to Cheesecake Factory, you're going to think about the good times you had at the Cheesecake Factory with that person. If you, like me and my wife, we are cigar aficionados, I'm not saying that you have to stop smoking the cigars, but there will be an association of the cigars and that person, especially if you're still going to the same cigar lounge. If you're still sitting in the same place at your home, on the back porch, front porch, wherever you used to smoke together and communicate and talk and have fun and laugh together. Change your routine if it's a habit that you're going to keep. But definitely go out and develop new habits. Oh, you didn't hike when y'all were together. Start hiking. You didn't go to the gym when y'all were together. Start going to the gym. You didn't paint together. Start painting. You see, creating new memories and new hobbies somewhere else without them brings you joy in those places and joy in your life, and you start to realize more of a sense of self. And that is, at the end of the day, what we're looking to create, a new sense of self, because there are plenty of people out there who will vibrate perfectly with you. It's a buffet of people out there who will vibrate perfectly with you. They weren't your only one. I've never believed in you have one soulmate. If that's the case, no one is ever going to find them, because your soulmate could be on another side of the planet or married to somebody else. So those are some tips for helping you get through the breakup and so that you don't rebound back and forth with that person.